we just have found that it is so much more effective when the voice of the content is from the people on the team. Well, we're really a consultancy first. So, and we've kind of taken a different track. I know you've spoken with some other folks on the podcast that may be in more of an agency type relationship with their clients. And we are typically in more of a consultative role with our clients. So what we found is that there's a need for people who are, it's a business and they've got a marketing team who's very capable of execution and of getting things done, but they lack the experience and maybe some of the technical knowledge and I guess just some of the street smarts that go along with executing something like inbound marketing or marketing automation or doing email well. So it's people that can do it, but they just haven't done it before and they need a little help. And so we find ourselves doing a lot of one-on-one training. And quite frankly, a lot of times our clients are reporting more to us on what they've done than we're reporting to them on what we've done. If that makes sense.
It does. And that means you mostly don't provide content with your team. You're consulting companies that do content already, but do it better.
It's a mix. And we used to do a lot more content creation on behalf of clients, and we still do a little bit of that, but we just have found that it is so much more effective when the voice of the content is from the people on the team. And when that voice and the byline is actually from an employee and it's not stolen by the CEO or something along those lines. In fact, we've turned people away who say, hey, I've got a team here and they're writing content and we're putting it all under the CEO's byline. And like, that's not cool, in my opinion. You've got people working for you, busting their ass, in my opinion, writing content for you, and then you as the leader of the company steal their credit. I don't want to work with someone like that. And I think we ought to be lifting these employees up, showcasing their expertise, helping them tell their stories. And that's what we decided the unofficial mission of our company is really.
What are some other problems that you see with your consulting clients?
The want to, but not the ability to get things done sometimes. The larger an organization gets, the harder it is to do something as simple as putting together a newsletter. When the strategy seems so clear, for instance, we had a client, they're selling to HR culture type directors in a company, talent management. And from a social perspective, if you go on LinkedIn, if you've ever been on LinkedIn, you'll see that there are these culture talent managers desperately seeking attention. They're constantly posting their birthday celebrations and all the little things they do with their company. They just want a little bit of attention. And if we could shine the spotlight on some of those people that are out there looking for this attention, either through interviews like this, and they had a software that actually might facilitate that and showcase that through this interview process. So it would do double duty. It would showcase those people. They would share the content. It would showcase their stuff, but they couldn't get it done. It could never get approved. Like when it seems so simple, there's this content machine sitting out there. All you have to do is just go talk to these people and showcase your stuff. Everybody wanted to do it, but nobody could come together on the idea. And so their email database, their contact database lies dormant, and they let everyone go cold. So they're generating leads with these white papers, and frankly, they're sort of low value. I mean, they are what they are. They're white papers. You get a one-time little thing from it, but you're not building a relationship with the company. And that's what a continual newsletter sort of content program is designed to do. And that's what we're trying to help people understand. It's not just about, okay, the one-time lead. It's great to get a sale. It's great to have a salesperson respond to that, but not everyone's ready. And sometimes we need to have some sort of relationship with an audience first. And there are these ways to just do that, but you got to take the next step. We got to get legal on board. We got to get the CFO out of this business, right? The accountant shouldn't be weighing in on this. You shouldn't be sending it out to the rest of the team saying, hey, should we be doing this? Because then you're going to get a whole bunch of feedback. We got to be more agile.
Well, there are some good points. I didn't see them from my perspective, but yeah, I can totally relate. So basically, you give them good content strategies that you think is the right thing to do. You also apply them on your website and on your social media and all the content you put out. I see you also speaking. You have a podcast that's going well. So clearly, you have done the right thing for yourself. I'm wondering about your own lead generation for your business as a consultant. Do you get most from inbound marketing, or do you have a mix? And if you have a mix, how does it look like?
Sure. So what I found is that inbound marketing, as HubSpot describes it, and the reason I say HubSpot is because they coined that term really and put it out there and branded that term and decided that there was a methodology to follow. As they describe it, there are elements of that work. And, putting out white papers and things like that. And it did work really, really well. Even a couple of years ago, that's all you would really need to do to generate good warm leads. Now, you still have to have a strong sales team to engage with those people. You have to have good content to, have an email nurturing type program. But just straight up white paper type lead generation worked a lot better then than it does now. Even then, it's not alone going to take care of everything you need to do. I see a lot of people fail, a lot of businesses fail at inbound marketing, and they say, well, inbound marketing doesn't work when they drop everything else, right? They pull their ads out of the thing they've been doing for 15 years, or they decide, okay, we're going to kill these other programs to pull that budget to put towards inbound marketing. Well, if something's working, I say you do more of that, right?
That's a logical thing to do.
Sure. We don't kill. Inbound marketing is not something that you start and then you stop doing everything else, because it's a long game. And inbound marketing is nothing without good content. And what I'm seeing in content is just a severe lack of substance. So, content, it could be really airy or it can be really weighty. And I'm seeing a lot of things put out there that are just not substantial. And what we've tried to do is keep a mix of good, substantial content and out real world stuff. This is why you see us doing, why you see me doing speaking, why you see us running real world events. We've been known to run an occasional ad to promote a local event, right? I like to mix the local event strategy. We're in Dallas, Fort Worth, so we kind of have a metroplex area. So it depends on what your market is. But our client base is only about 25% from our local area. We have most of our clients are from all over the world, and we do business like this, just video calls. And I know that you're somewhere else, and I'm here in Texas. And where are you, by the way?
In Vietnam.
In Vietnam. Yeah. I'd caught another episode and noticed that you were overseas. So it's amazing what technology has enabled us to do, and we could pick up clients anywhere. And the podcasting is another big thing. We get a lot of people that they come and they discover that podcast, and then they start downloading all the episodes. Mm-hmm. And as you spend more time with someone in your ear, you build a relationship with them. And while the first time I might meet them, it might be the first time for me, but it's not the first time for them.
Yeah, that's an interesting effect. Do you do any outbound sales, outbound marketing, cold email, cold calls?
A little bit, but not too terribly much. We have a lot of referrals from our clients. And one of the things when we bring on a new client, and I was just bringing on someone the other day, and I sat down with him and I said, one of the ways that we grow our business is by actively asking people who are in our client base if they know anyone that might need our help. Mm-hmm. And that's as we're sitting there before the contract is signed. Mm-hmm. And I think that's very important, because if you don't lay that groundwork at the beginning, then you are hesitate to ask, and you're never probably going to ask, right? So we actually get a lot of our outbound sales done for us by clients when we come back calling for a favor, right? There will come a day when we will ask you for a favor, right? So we try not to do that too much, but we come back and say, hey, you know what we talked about when we first started, right? We've been working together for a while. You kind of seen how we worked. We started to generate some results. Do you know anybody else that might need our help? And then we ask for that mutual introduction, and there's just nothing better. And now that is a form of outbound sales. It's just not someone on my team that's doing the selling. It's someone else. And I can't think of a better way to begin a cold relationship than by generating a warm referral. So I highly recommend that for anyone. And we recommend that same strategy for our clients, which is why I do it at the very beginning of our relationship, because it demonstrates that we practice what we preach.
So you ask the client before he has signed if he knows anyone, and then at a future point, again, you ask if he knows anyone.
Well, I'll just say that, hey, look, after a while, after we start to show results, I'm going to ask you if you know anyone, because this is one of the ways that we build our business. It's partially through inbound marketing, it's partially through these local events, and it's partially through client referrals. And so if you're comfortable with that, then this relationship's going to go okay.
Yeah.
But if that's not something you're comfortable with, then it may not be a good fit. And that's saying that at the point of sale, it's decision time. Do I want to be a part of this where that might be an expectation flowing back and forth? Because we're certainly going to be trying to drive their business.
Yeah.
Shouldn't they try and reciprocate a little bit? And that's the decision I'm asking them to make.
Okay. Let's say imagine you would lose all your clients right now and you would need to ramp up the first clients again. What channel would you use?
If I lost all my clients and all my content and everything, and I had to just start over.
Let's say you would still have the website. Would the leads just come in and you don't have to do, or would you need to put up more content?
Oh.
Would you do that, or would you rather do like introductions again?
So we went really light on the podcast this past year, and I consistently got thousands of downloads every month, generated brand new leads from it without creating any new episodes. Yeah. So it's a cash cow. Now that will die over time, and we're relaunching it this year after it's been lying dormant for a little while because it just did so well for us last year. And we ran out of bandwidth. So we made a hire, we brought on some more resources, did some restructuring, and now I'm able to spend a little bit more time on that. And so that's why I'm ramping that up. I think that plus this one-to-many type video type content, more speaking, that sort of thing, God, it drives the business. I'll tell you. Yeah, content is the number one piece of business development that I can do. So I think the podcast has been that. Now, will it stay that as people really start to explore more video? That remains to be seen. I think there's always a market for people walking around with headphones on that don't have time to sit and look at a screen. So.
Okay. So what channel is really predictable? If you, do you know what I mean? If you say you put in this effort, this comes out. Is it the podcast? Do you know for every new half a year podcasting, you get this much traffic, this many leads? Do you have that for the blog as well?
Sure. So we saw a severe downtick in our blog traffic over the past year and a half. And we don't believe, based on other clients that we manage, based on other folks in the industry that we've spoken to, we don't believe that it's all because of lack of quality, right? I mean, it could be. You tell me. But we think that there's just a lot going on with more native content in these social channels. People are sticking around in places like LinkedIn to read the articles. They're sticking around in Facebook to read native articles there. They're sticking around in Medium to read articles there. Going out to blogs and leaving these content hubs like those social channels, it's happening less and less. And so I think that the blog, while it will remain the hub, it will be the place you can come back to. I think we're going to do a lot more native content, pieces of those pieces of content. There's a friend of mine, Pete Caputa, taught me this. He just recently became CEO of DataBox. He left HubSpot after a successful career there. He will go and he'll create a post on something like LinkedIn that is basically a snippet of his blog, like maybe the best point, the executive summary of his blog post or his other piece of content that's back on his blog. And it's more or less a commercial. It's saying, hey, here's the best piece of this. If you'd like to read the rest, you can come on back. If not, you've got the best takeaway. So it's the perfect piece for LinkedIn, right? Because LinkedIn, sort of a business-oriented thing. You just kind of want that quick hit executive summary. And it gets him eyeballs, it gets him a lot of comments, and it drives a lot of traffic back. So we're going to be doing a lot more of that. We've implemented a lot of that with our clients, and I've done a little bit of that myself. But we're going to really ramp that strategy up. I think Jay Baer calls this atomization of content.
What do you think was important for your podcast success, mainly?
Not using the DJ voice or something like that. You know? Not trying to overproduce it, not trying to be someone that I'm not trying to force it. I'll tell you, I started out with 3 different podcasts. We launched 3 at the same time. I launched an interview podcast, a buddy type podcast with a co-host, and I launched a solo show that I've still got going. That's 5 minutes, 10 minutes, just like one quick tip. And I found quickly that I didn't enjoy running the interviews as much because I was not seasoned enough, I think, in the industry. Maybe if I did it now, it'd be different. But I was trying to subconsciously emulate other podcasts that I'd heard. I was getting the same guests on, and I was just becoming a me too. Yeah. So that didn't work for me. I got disillusioned myself. The buddy show was actually really good, but just trying to keep up with somebody else's schedule was hard. And then I felt like we were sticking to a script a lot because we would do all these notes ahead of time, and it was just like, oh, now you talk, now I talk, and it didn't feel human as much as it could have. And sometimes I feel like if I just get on and just talk about something for a few minutes, that's the most raw and human I can be. And I think people responded to that. And I've always tried to drop a little bit of, hey, here's what I'm doing. Like, hey, I'm taking my daughter to the zoo this weekend, and that's going to be fun. So I'm looking forward to it. And then people would ask me about stuff like that. Hey, how did that go? I don't think, A, they listen all the way to the end, so that's cool. Yeah. And B, they know a little bit more about me, and I get to share something with them. And for me, that I think is what people want in business today, and that's what's changed as we've gotten away from Mad Men, mass media, sending out mass messages to drive demand for tide. People now want more story behind what they buy, and they want to know who made it and how they made it and why and what's going on with them, and they want to hear the stories behind that. And it certainly has been a demonstration of my theory in practice, that people just want to know more about who's running these companies, who's doing all of this stuff. And it's from personal experience.
I agree with that. I also try to include some personal stuff in the videos, but you will see it when I make it for you. Can I jump the topics a bit, just because we are almost running out of time? You mentioned this one thing, the local event strategy.
Sure.
Is that some blueprint you have, how you roll out an event, or was it just a name you just gave it?
I wish I had a blueprint for it, so I could use some help in trying to figure all this out. We run some local events for training on. We do a lot of work at helping people figure out how to use things like HubSpot, marketing automation type software. So we run local events, getting people together to talk about that. We run local events in getting people together to talk about marketing, and we've tried all kinds of different stuff. executive type briefings, we just meetups, and a lot of them work, a lot of them don't work. You can't. There's some formats that we've tried that you can't get people to show up for free, and then there's some formats that where we can't get enough. We don't have enough room for people where we charge $50 or $100 for a big room. So and we're not trying to make a tremendous amount of money with these events at this point. I think that's on the roadmap, is how do we build an event that will draw a crowd? How can we draw some speakers in and maybe make something that people travel to? But right now we're still figuring all that out, Till. I don't have any big answers, but I'll tell you that experimentation is key, understanding your market. The Dallas-Fort Worth area is very interesting. If you've ever been down here, you'll know it's a big market, and Dallas and Fort Worth are 50 miles away, or it's a pretty big area to cover. So it's an hour. So people from Dallas aren't going to come over to Fort Worth very much. People from Fort Worth aren't going to come over to Dallas. So you got to kind of hop around the metro place. And then there's North Dallas. It's a whole different animal. So you've got to really hop around. It's not like, for instance, in Boston, you can run Boston events and people will kind of hop around, but they've still got their little pockets and their little boroughs, right? But here it's more like it's just separate cities. And so that's been an interesting challenge for us to tackle. But what I do know, Till, is that when I meet people, and this is what the power of content marketing really is sure, you get a lot of, you get organic traffic, you can drive social shares and people can discover you online, but there's no better lead, or there's no better person than someone you've met in person that comes back to your website and then subscribes to your stuff. Because they've met you, now they come back, now they're reading your stuff and they're continuing to consume it. They didn't discover you online, they discovered you in person, and now they get that continued drip because the next time you see them, hey, I really like that blog post you did. And then someone else is right there and they're like, oh, I didn't get that. Oh, you're not on his newsletter? And I'm telling you, man, there's just nothing better to build credibility. So if you're out in your local marketplace, which I believe that everybody should be to a certain degree. A lot of people think online digital marketers should sit in their cubbies and that's it, and just type out content or be on video. But you got to be out there, and that's where my feeling is right now, that people need to see more of you, and that not enough people realize that there's a human element to it.